Okay, so this is really how to study for an assessment, of course, to Mr. G style. It's not really a one size kind of fits all approach, but these are suggestions that could, in fact, work for you as you prepare for like a bigger assessment or even a small, assessment like a quiz. Okay, so studying for any assessments really starts. They really that studying starts in class, and so here are some suggestions for preparing while still in class. Number one, in my mind, it's kind of key is that you want to make sure you ask questions about both the content that's going to be on the assessment and the assessment type itself. Are the questions multiple choice? Are they student provided responses? Where you have to show your work for math, or where you have to create a graph, okay, or even where you have to actually it's short answer and you have to provide a phrase. Okay, you have to know those things before we go in. And then also find out what type of resources you can use during the actual assessment. Okay, is it open note? Can you use a calculator? Can you use read write? Can you use a translator? And then if you're unsure, then certainly make sure you follow up with basically asking where you can find those resources. Okay, and so once you have that, then it's like, hey, do you have all the notes? Okay, and so as you lead up to any assessment, you should be getting notes each day before you even leave class. And then if you don't have them, first place I would always go to is another student before the teacher. That way, you can see what another student grasped, and then you have that information, and then you go to the teacher. Okay, it also helps the conversation and discussion you have between peers, and rather than just asking, "Hey, can I have the notes from a teacher?" Okay. Now, once you have the review or the study guide, what can you do? First thing you should do, right? Read through it all. Okay, a lot of times, you might want to just get started on it, but read through it all. This way, you can kind of circle back to the notes. Say, hey, wait, this is on the study guide, but we never learned this. What? Okay, and so after you have that in hand, you read it. At this point, start with any vocabulary terms. So even if there's not a structured section for it, where it's like, hey, this is a word, define it. Okay, generate that yourself. Use flashcards, use things digitally like Quizlet, for example, and then go ahead and define them. Or if it's like units of measurement for like science, use a description how they would be used. All right, and then after that, answer the questions you know. Okay, so you can use the resources. It's open note, I imagine, for the review. So use the resources you have. Okay, and then after that, list any questions you don't know, and then get help. Okay, I recommend again another student first, and then go to the teacher. All right, from that point, boom, it's like you repeat, repeat, repeat. Okay, the more times you repeat it in different ways, the better you're actually going to remember the information. Okay, so read them out loud, write the answers, type the answers, try to review them with others, watch a review video, all those things so that you can get more touches, more watches, etc. For the information is going to help. Now, assessment day, tomorrow. What's going to happen day leading up to the test? First thing, you're in class. Hey, ask the teacher any last minute questions. Okay. And that's okay. That doesn't mean you're anxious about the test. It means that you are caring about your score and your knowledge. Okay. So do that first. And then make sure you keep your study time to 45 minutes maximum for any one session. And when you take breaks between those sessions, it's important. You have to let your mind settle. Okay. And of course, during that time, it could be where you're exercising, you're taking a walk. Okay. Those kinds of things during the day will help you actually sleep better at night, which is a great tool. Obviously, there's some other great effects when you exercise. Okay. And of course, at least the last thing, get a great night's sleep. All right. So that's how you should finish your day before. And now it's assessment day. All right. So after you've had your great night's sleep, start with a healthy breakfast. Okay. And typically that should contain both some healthy proteins. I recommend a fruit in the morning, nice a good healthy amount of sugar in that case. Okay. In class, once you get the assessment, hey, take some quality breaths. Be mindful, relax. Okay. It's one snapshot. It's one step along the way. Okay. And then read all the questions first, just like the review. Look for any clues. Sometimes question 1 may relate to question 7 that has the answer. So you look for any clues. and then answer the ones you know, spending a reasonable amount of time on any one question. Okay. And then circle back to any other questions, okay, to answer. And if you can't find the questions, maybe you need clarification if necessary. Okay. So once you have that, you're done with the assessment now. Jot down any questions you may still have, okay, that you might ask when you see your score. So just some thoughts, just some thoughts that would be helpful. And then after it's returned, make sure you know the correct answers, as well as where you may find those answers to the questions you may have actually missed. Okay, so you may have to ask the teacher for that, but you can also compare things with other students. Okay, and then ask what materials from the last section will help you in the next section. Okay, or even future sections. And that's kind of like, hey, we just took a test. Do I need this? Okay, how am I going to use this? Okay, and so that really, from my standpoint, that's how I would recommend playing for an assessment.